in the aftermath of this storm, we're going to be doing some cooking. Ought to be fun. Hey guys, on this Memorial Day weekend, we are going to be putting a couple of ChefsTemp products to the test. What I'm going to do is on the OCGF, I'm going to put a couple of brisket points in there, and I'm going to run it with the S1 and Breezo and monitor with some probes. And then on the old Expert grill you seeing right there, I call it Expert. That's a Walmart brand. It's just a cheap little charcoal pit. But on there, I'm going to throw on some jalapeno poppers, and I'm going to run that with another S1 and Breezo fan, and I'm going to show you guys whether they work or not work simultaneously. Will one S1 interfere with the other Breezo fan? Does pausing one stop both? We're going to look at all that stuff and also see how they cook side by side. So yeah, pretty excited about it. I'll fill you in a little more as we go, but yeah, briskets will go on tonight, and then we'll start them poppers tomorrow morning. See you in a bit. Hey, if you guys want to just scrub to the point where you're seeing the S1s in action, how they're doing when there's two of them running at the same time, just go to this time code right here, and you can scrub to that if you don't want to watch the whole cook. But hey, if you do, just stay tuned, okay? All right, guys, got some jalapeno poppers we're gonna make. I'm gonna start making these up now and let them sit in the fridge overnight. But they are good size jalapenos. I mean, I got large hands, guys, and these peppers I'm using are really, really, good size. So I'll be able to stuff a good amount of meat inside them. But the first thing you wanna do is get these things capped. Okay, I'm just gonna trim the stem off right there, and then I'm gonna core this out. I'm using the sharp blade at first, and then I'm gonna use a butter knife to get the rest of that out of there. So yeah, let me go ahead and get those things prepped. All right, I got them cored out, and you can see, I didn't get everything out of there. I like a lot of that white flesh because that's the spice in there. It's not really the seeds, it's that whiter flesh that's in there, but we gotta make room to put our stuffing in here. A couple things I'll tell you. If you're wanting to find super spicy jalapenos, there's a couple things to look for, okay? One is right here. You're seeing right here that there's, they call this like woodiness. It looks like it's growing a little bit of bark right there. It's a crack, and it fills in with it. That is this, when the peppers are getting spicy, they start to do that, to crack, do those sorts of things. They get a little darker. There's a little crack right there, a little bit growing right here. So there's your spicier ones, okay? And you'll see that each of these have a little bit of that on there somewhere. That's what I'm looking for. And then the second thing I'm looking for are the stems, okay? Let me dig a couple of these out of here. I'm looking for stems that are curled, okay? The more curled they are, like these, the spicier that pepper is gonna be, at least in my experience. It's a tip I got a long time ago. You'll see that this pepper right here should be spicier than that one, okay? Just because it's got a more pronounced curve to it. So, someone told me that a while back, and it's been right on. So those two things is something to look for if you like your peppers spicy. If you don't, you can get ones that don't have as much wood showing. And also, you can core them out really, really well. I cored this one out a little bit well, more than the others. But you can really scrape all that white flesh out of there. And then it's just really the flavor from the pepper you're gonna get. All right, I'm gonna wash these up, and I'm going to start on my sausage and cream cheese mixture. Getting pretty close. I don't know if you guys can hear that distinct little popping sound, but that's a good indication that Maillard reaction is going well. You can see those browner bits come sizzling up right there. That's what we're looking for. We don't want to go too far into it because I don't want those bits to be too difficult to chew. But as long as I get about a third of the way there, then I'll feel good about it. This is getting pretty close, so I might just go ahead and turn the heat off and start adding my cream cheese. All right, so I've added my cream cheese here. It's almost a full block. I use cream cheese for all sorts of stuff. I really love to smoke it. But I'm just gonna put this in here. You can probably still hear it sizzling a little bit. The gas is off. And I'm just gonna melt this down and get it mixed together the best I can. So, yeah, we'll keep working on that and try to get it as smooth as possible. Here we are, guys. I did go ahead and add the rest of that block of cream cheese with it, so it does have a pound of breakfast sausage and a full block of cream cheese now. I thought it needed a little bit more. So it's looking good now. I'm just gonna let this cool and we'll get this stuff in our peppers. All right, guys, it's time for the messiest part now. I gotta get this inside of these. Here we go. Here we go. Let's get them wrapped up. I'm gonna start with this fatty end. I'm gonna stick it right here with a toothpick. And I'm just gonna wrap around. I'm not gonna overlap because this is thick cut bacon. Okay, so I'm just gonna go just like so. Toothpick it right there. Try to go through both sides of the bacon so it doesn't slide off the bottom. Okay, and then I want to get through both sides of the bacon on this top as well. That's pretty much it. Okay, so now you might say, well, you're going to lose cheese and stuff out of there too. Yeah, well, when you're smoking them, stack them end to end and you won't lose that cheese. Okay, and when you turn them, you just got to be careful to put them back together. You can fold the bacon up over the top of that, but these peppers are so big, it'd take me 2 slices of bacon. So I'm just gonna butt them together as I smoke them. All right, so now that I got all these wrapped up, I'm gonna hit these with some Meat Church Gospel, maybe some Holy Voodoo. Use the seasoning you like on these. I do have a couple of these right here. There were 2 leftover pieces of bacon. I just rolled them up tight. I'm gonna put these right next to the fire. The hottest spot I can find, and get these sizzled up as crispy and crunchy as I can. And I'm going to keep basting these things as well, and just turn them into nice crunchy little bacon balls. I don't know what the heck to call them, but gotta do something with that leftover bacon. So that's what we're doing. All right, guys, here we got our 2 brisket points. They are market trimmed. But we are going to trim up some. You see some small edges, sharp edges right here that we're going to trim off, round these off just a little bit. Not a whole lot, because it is a point. It's going to survive the heat really, really well, and I don't want to waste much of any of it. So just make it a little bit more aerodynamic, and the parts that I know will burn, get rid of those. But other than that, hey, a point's a point. I love these rather than a whole packer. Just because these are way more forgiving, and it's tough to dry these out. It really is. And let's be honest, at least I'll be honest, I'd rather eat the point slices any day over the flat, but that's just me. There's enough of the flat right here. You can see there's enough of the flat right there, and through this edge right here, this is all still the flat. It comes up right here and stops. It goes right on that fat. It does the same thing right here. So there's a small section of the flat right there that, my wife can eat on. But the rest of that, boom, 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 it's getting chopped vertically like that. And, can't wait. All right, well, let's get these things trimmed up. here we go. We got our Holy Cow and our Lowry's. We're gonna get this thrown on there, and I'm gonna put this on for the most part, get it pretty much done with this one, and then I'm gonna top it off with the Lowry's. As you can tell, when I was seasoning this one, boy, the butcher really got into it right here. And you know, it might not be all his fault, it'd just be how the muscle was, but they did a hell of a job hiding it in the packaging. This one, however, is beautiful, not a flaw in it. So either way, they're seasoned up. They'll go on the smoker here. I'm about to get it fired up, and these will just kind of wait right here until the smoke is ready to roll. All right, so you old country guys may appreciate this. I'm getting this thing ready to fire up and burn, and you know, the phone's doing a good job of making it look not so dark out here, but it's way darker than it actually looks. But I got this for the pit. It's magnetic. I'm just gonna stick it right here. Okay, it's just gonna stick right there above the door, like so. Just gonna stick right there. Okay, and then kind of give you an idea of the brightness of it. There's one click. That's the lowest. That's brighter. That's even brighter. You know, and then when we open the cabinet up, man, there it is. I mean, that's awesome. One little click. Compare the difference between off and on one setting. Next, the brightest. So this is just one of those things that they make for working on your cars. It's got a little LED indicator on battery life. It's pretty cool. So anyway, I got that mainly because I could stick it right there above the door and it'll be out of the way. So, and if I'm worried about leaving it out overnight, hell, I'll just grab it and pull it off, and no big deal. Wow, guys, this thing is really flying up to temp tonight. It's only been about 10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. It's already at 221. Yeah, I don't know what it is about tonight, but it's getting good air and it's climbing quick. It's set to 225. It's probably going to overshoot a little bit just because it's raising so fast. But I'm going to settle it down, and you know, it's a little hard to see because it's dark. But you know, what we're getting out of the stack is pretty clear. We're getting a little leakage right here. I'm going to go ahead and retighten that just to cut off some of that. I don't want that fire building up the stack there. So yeah, like I said, it overshot just a smidge, and then we'll let this smoke clean up a little bit and we'll get it on. Okay, guys, it has settled in about 230. It did overshoot a little bit, but it's settled, so the smoke is cleaned up some, so I'm going to go ahead and get these things on. All right, here we go. I got 2 probes in each. I got one probe in the fattier part, and then another probe there in the leaner part of this, and I'm talking about that flat that carries over the top of the point. And then the same thing here on these 2. So I'm trying to keep it away from this wall where it gets a little bit hotter. But this thing is going to go at least for 6 hours without me even looking at it. Okay, guys, I got up at about 6 o'clock, wrapped up these points, and here they are right here. They're looking pretty good. Wow, that's a lot of steam. Sorry about that. You'll see that this S1 right here is at 253. I've got it set at 250 right now. So it may drop down because I just opened the door. If it does, the Breezo will kick on if it gets down to 247. But you'll see right now, this Breezo right here, it's not running, okay? It shouldn't be yet, okay? This one, however, you can hear it running because this S1 is trying to get to 300. These things are right by each other. Okay, so right now this one's running this Breezo fan. That one's running that Breezo fan. Okay, so if I hit the pause button here, that should pause the fan down here. And it just did. I'll hit the pause button again. Notice that one's running now because the temperature had dropped, and now it's kicked back up. Okay, so that one stopped. So hit the pause button. That one started up. This one did not. Okay, so this one is definitely sending signals there. So let's try this in reverse. Let's hit the pause button here. Okay, fan is paused. Nothing. This one's still pulsing. Okay, so good. Unpause the fan. There we have it. Okay, so right now this pit is set at 250, which is why that thing's not running. This one's set at 300. I put my peppers in here. Okay, got my coal bed right there. And so this one's fighting to get to 300. All I did was I used my old connector. I've got a new one coming here, a new ChefsTemp connector. But I put a new a teed off on the inside, drilled some holes in it so that I'm not blowing ash all over the place. So that's kind of diffusing that for me. And then I put these two right here over the fire so they can drip on it a little bit, create a little bit of flame, a little bit of smoke. But that's the setup there. I was gonna tape all these off so it didn't draw any extra air anywhere. But it looks to me like it's just around the door and around this tray down here at the bottom. Let me get that a little tighter. I'm gonna get some heat tape and tape all that off. Okay, so right now you can hear this thing kicking on. It's fighting to get there. I'm gonna open this up just a smidge more. And this one just a hair more. Let's see if that'll get up there. It got up to 260 something and started going back down. Yeah, we'll see how it does. This is the first time I've put it on this pit, so it's gonna take some trial and error. But yeah, this is great. This S1 that's right next to the other, and they're controlling independently. This is great news for you guys that run like barbecue events. You know, you could have several of these running fans independently and they won't confuse each other. So I'm not just gonna assume it's done. We're gonna let this thing play out all the way just to make sure no issues arise. Okay, I just raised it to 275 on the app. So this one here is now gonna start climbing. It's pushing that Breezo fan right there. This one here, Breezo's running non-stop because it's trying to get up to 300. And it is sitting right at 250 something right now. I keep opening the damn door. This thing being as small as it is, man, it loses heat in a hurry. It's not insulated, so so one thing I'll say about this unit, don't open the door much if you don't have to. Just messing around here with the S1, open the door up, it got it up to 300, but I opened the door, let it get way down to see what would happen. This here fan kicked on. You know, meanwhile over here, we're at 273. And this fan is cycling, trying to get up to 275. So all is good. Probably wondering why I moved it over there. Well, the wife came home and I was sending a lot of smoke down this little alley right here, and their door's over there. So yeah, the house was a little smoky. So I didn't have it in a very good place. Not to have two of them going, that's just too much. But yeah, this thing is trying to get caught up to 300 now. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Okay, guys, look at that. They look awesome. And let me tell you, the ChefsTemp S1 and Breezo did a great job. I got it right here. It's smoking like heck now, but I've opened up the baffle, and I'm just gonna burn this charcoal out of here. I'm just gonna let that thing run to just hold it at 300 just to get the coals burned out of there. But again, that thing is running, here running. And of course this one is still just chilling, hanging out at 275. So, man, it's been pretty awesome having two of them. All right, so the verdict, running two S1s with two Breezos, not a problem. They did great. They did exactly what they're supposed to do. This S1 right here only dealt with this Breezo fan. It did not confuse with that one right over there. And anytime I adjusted this one, it didn't confuse the one over here. So you can run multiples of these at the same time. If you need to, man, go get them. It doesn't matter if you're in a group of 20 people that has them running. They're not going to confuse each other. They're going to do a great job. They're going to do exactly what they're designed to do. That's it for the review on these things. I'm still finishing up my brisket, so I'm still going to put that on here. But yeah, the verdict is in on running multiple ones. It's not a problem. Give it a shot. Here it is, looking good. Let me get the cutting board out and give them a slice. Whew, oh man, that brisket is fantastic, unbelievable. Wow, the flavor on the juiciness, I mean, it's just, wow, it's on point. You know, and really thanks to those ChefsTemp products. I mean, good God, they kept you right on the temperature the whole time, exactly where it needed to be. And look, there's this argument out there that says, you know, pellet smokers can't get the flavor of an offset, and they're right, really can't. But what ChefsTemp has done has turned any smoker into the automation of a pellet. And it is a game changer, it is. And the fact that theirs is wireless and those competitors aren't, that's a big deal. So man, great job ChefsTemp.
Good job, Old Country on the pit, and good job, Mr. Rancher, with that cow, because that sure did taste good. All right, guys. Hey, everything went well. The S1s drove the Breezos just great, no problems, and the food was fantastic. Couldn't ask for a better day. I hope you guys have a good one.